What's up guys, James here from BootWizard Boot Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at what could be the most important product that I've ever had on the channel. That's right, this unassuming little piece of green plastic could be the most important product that I have ever reviewed. So today we're going to do two things. We're going to look at why I think these are so important, and we're also going to review them and see how they perform, and see if that performance can live up to the level of importance. There's no point in having a fantastically important piece of tech if it doesn't perform on the field. So we're going to start by looking at its importance, and then later on in the video, we'll see how they perform. This is the Green Guard. In its simplest form, it's a shin pad. In its most complex, it is an environmentally sustainable, 100% recycled, community-saving, education-providing, socially conscious product that wants to use the power of sports for good. It's a lot, isn't it? The Green Guard, as with most shin pads, is made from two sections, the hard outer shell and then a backing. Those two things are then bonded together. Standard stuff. The difference here is that the outer shell is made from 100% high-density polyethylene that has been recycled. So what happens is that there is a company called Viridis, I don't pronounce it very well. They go out into the streets of Sri Lanka, into highly densely populated areas, and they collect plastic waste. All of that plastic waste is then cut down into plastic chips. The plastic chips are then melted and reformed into the shape that Green Guards want for their shin pads. So that's all great. We all know we need to recycle more. But to give you some context, and we'll use Sri Lanka as an example, in Sri Lanka in 2010, the average Sri Lankan was generating 0.36 kilograms of plastic waste every single day. So if you want to break that down, it's 1,800 of your Grand's tea bags in weight every single day. It's a lot of tea. And if we work that out over a year, that's 7,718,400 kilograms of plastic waste. And if you want a fun way to kind of picture that, that's 1,286 African elephants all stacked on top of each other, all drinking tea, with your gran on top also drinking a cup of tea, with 19 of her bingo buddies all dancing around on top eating cake. Only Germany, Ireland, Guyana, and some small islands such as Barbados create more plastic waste per capita than Sri Lanka does. And most of those countries also have a better way of dealing with that plastic waste, which means Sri Lanka is one of the countries that is the prime culprit for having plastic waste seep into our oceans and get dumped into our oceans. Annually, over 8 million tons of plastic waste are dumped into our water supplies worldwide, and this is an enormous problem. 8 million tons? Can you picture that? If you can't, let me help you out. In elephants and grands, of course. It's 1,333,333 African elephants all stacked on top of each other, all drinking tea, with her gran and 28 of her bingo buddies all on top, drinking tea, having cake and biscuits, while Stormzy's in the back, playing a banging set. That's how much plastic waste we get every single year, just in our water supplies. So I think we can conclude that recycling plastic for the outer shell of the Green Guard and recycling it from Sri Lanka is super important and pretty awesome. So flipping around to the other side of the Green Guard, we have this rubber backing. Now this is made from recycled tyres, recycled inner tubes. And what Green Guards have done here is they've partnered up with Panama Outreach in Indonesia, who are a social enterprise designed around providing jobs for women in the area. In this case, it's East Java in Indonesia. All of the tyres are found and hand cut by these women who are working in East Java for Panama Outreach, and then once that's happened, the backing, this rubber element here, gets sent back over to Singapore where Green Guards are based, where these two elements are bonded together. So rather than recycling, this is more of a process of upcycling. And Panama Outreach not only deals with the upcycling of these, they also take a percentage of the profits from every single sale and they donate that back to the desa villages, which are also in Java, Indonesia, to help provide schooling and education for the children there. How can you not love this? And just for a little extra spice, the adhesive that they use to bond that hard recycled plastic outer shell with the backing to the shin guards, it has far less volatile organic compounds than a standard adhesive. A VOC, a volatile organic compound, is something that can affect the air quality around us and cause smog. It's the most common cause, and by using less of it, we damage our air quality less, we create less ozone. It's all good news. So this is all fantastic, but it's all for nothing if they don't perform. As footballers, we want lightweight, comfortable shin guards that don't move around and don't get like Brock Lesnar's face during a WrestleMania main event. They're a necessity, but for me, the essence of a good shin guard is the ability to completely forget that I'm wearing it while also knowing I'm protected. We're going to start by looking at protection. So these are the high density polyethylene outer shell, which provides perfectly adequate protection. Are you going to be as protected as something with a carbon fiber shell? No, it's not going to be as protective, it's not going to be as lightweight, but these are also not as expensive as a carbon fiber shin guard. So protection wise, I have no complaints, I have no problems, and I feel like these do a perfectly adequate job. So weight wise, these come in at 63 grams per shin guard, which is nice and light. It's not a weight that's going to bother you or that you're even going to notice when you're wearing it. And these are also a very low profile slim shin guard. You can see here that they're quite slim, they fit very close to your shin, and they're also anatomically shaped, so they actually fit quite nicely across your shins. And in terms of the actual shape of them, just the curvature, fits my legs quite nicely. Obviously that's going to depend on person to person, but overall in terms of just lightweight, non-intrusive shin guards, I'm pretty impressed. So looks wise, these are pretty straightforward. They come in 3 different colors. I have kind of this mid-green color, there's also a neon green, and a stealth black, if that is more your jam. And they look fine. Again, they're not doing anything extraordinary. You do have to take into account that because these shin guards are made from fully recycled materials, that the process is used to melt down those plastic chips and reform them, you do get some imperfections in the appearance of the outer shell. It's not completely smooth, it doesn't look completely premium. Now, that's not a reason to not buy the shin guards, in my opinion. It's just something that you want to be aware of if these turn up at your door and you see a few scratches and little dings and knots in them. It's just the process used to recycle that HDPE. There's nothing wrong with your shin guards. Similarly, because the backing is made from recycled tyres and inner tubes, these are completely individual as well, and they don't have a premium uniform vibe. You can actually see that rubber from the different tyres across the different backings. They are completely different. And again, it does mean that it's not the most premium, but considering that they've made these from old disused tyres, I think this is actually kind of a cool appearance thing because they're completely individual and they look like they've been recycled from something or upcycled from something. And I really like that. I think this is a cool little touch and just a little nod that shows you what you've bought and how it's been made. So that part especially, I'm definitely not worried about. So while from a looks point of view, I quite like this rubber backing, from a performance point of view, it's probably my least favourite thing about these shin guards, because it is rubber. It is one layer of material that's rubber, that's been bonded to the front, and it's just not that comfortable. it's quite hard, but I can get over that. My issue really comes in the fact that the material itself is not very breathable. As soon as you start to get hot, as you start to sweat, it lines the inside of this and the shin pads simply move. They slide down my leg and they move too much for my liking. The one thing I don't want to do is think about my shin pads, and if I'm down adjusting them fairly regularly, then it's definitely an issue. So these shin guards obviously just slide into your socks. There's no straps and there's no calf sleeves provided. With good reason. You're obviously going to increase the price, you're going to increase waste, you're going to have to use more manufacturers to do this kind of thing, and considering what Green Guards are trying to achieve, it's all stuff that doesn't make sense for their business model. If you happen to have a pair of calf sleeves already, I do, it pretty much is a fix for these moving around, although the backing still does obviously get a bit sweaty and it's not particularly enjoyable. But again, calf sleeves are not really the answer. They're made from synthetic materials, which are basically made from plastic, which means that every time you wash them, you are potentially washing microplastics into the water supply. So, are calf sleeves a viable solution to this problem? I don't think so, and it's just something that we're going to have to hope that Green Guards fix over the next couple of iterations of this shin pad, because this is a fantastic product with a fantastic idea, and it just happens to have a small flaw. So cost and value for money, always important when we're picking up a brand new product, even if its main selling point is the fact that it's environmentally sustainable. So these come in at $40 US, approximately 35 euro, which for a pair of shin pads is on the upper end of what you'll pay for a lot of those mid-range shin guards. These are the same price as a Nike Mercurial Light Superlock. And if we start comparing them to those shin pads, unfortunately, there's not much of a comparison. The Superlock is more breathable, it fits your leg better, moves around less, and it also feels like it potentially offers more protection as well. So that's not really the aim or the position that you want to be when you're in the same price point. But we can also take it, we can compare it to the Nike J Guards, a very popular guard that many people wear because it's small, it's flexible, and it's cheap. These compare very favourably. I think they work in a very similar way to the J Guard. They offer more protection in my opinion. The J Guard tends to be a little overly flexible for something that's supposed to protect your shins, and you can let this backing, the problem there, slide if you're comparing it to a J Guard. The problem being that the J Guard's about 25 euro cheaper than a pair of these. So on a value for money perspective, on a normal review, I would probably be telling you that these are not a great value for money option. But when you take everything that I just said at the beginning of the video regarding how important these can be and are to the environment around us and their environmental impact being so positive, I think if you're looking for a basic pair of shin guards to do a job and you have the money to spend on something like Green Guards, we should all be going out and supporting initiatives and companies like this by spending that little bit of extra money, because next time, maybe Green Guards, maybe another company are going to come up with something that is truly very special and truly revolutionary to the environment around us. And by supporting and sponsoring this product, we are potentially supporting and sponsoring future products that are going to make all the difference. So overall, can I recommend these? Absolutely. I think for what they are, for what they stand for, and for the kind of things that we as consumers should be supporting, this is absolutely a product that you should look at and you should potentially invest in, just to help support future investment in products like this. They are so important when you consider the world that we live in. I'm not going to lie to you and say that these are the greatest shin guards that have ever been made, or that they're even the best value for money on the market. But they're a shin guard that's probably one of the most important products that's available on the market right now, and hopefully a product that can put pressure on big companies like Nike and Adidas to come up with something similar and drive that innovation through the whole industry. We're already getting it with third kits from Nike, from Adidas, made out of ocean plastic, I don't see why shin guards can't be the next step. Let me know what you think of the Green Guards down in the comments. If you want to pick a pair up, I will leave a link to the Green Guards website down there as well. If you want to see more content like this, then do hit the like button, because it means I can go out, I can find more, and I can make more for you. And of course, if you're not already, get subscribed, and remember to head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/BootWizard, to check out a lot of our content, exclusive and before anybody else. But that's all from BootWizard here today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.